What's going on, YouTube? It is Raise Hellzel back again with another video for y'all, man. And in this video, I am going to be going over the top 9 edge rushers in this draft, right? That the Washington Commanders realistically have a chance at drafting. So I'm not really ranking them on who I think will be the best coming out or who is the best from best to worst. I'm not necessarily doing that. I'm doing it from best to worst of who I think we realistically have a chance to draft. So who can fall to the 29 pick, or if we trade back, who can fall in the second round, who's going to be in the third round, fourth round type players, and we can realistically change them. So essentially, I'm saying I'm leaving off the top, some of the top guys, and just leaving the guys that we realistically have a chance to get 25 at pick 29 and back. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. All right, so before I get into my first player here, I'm gonna discuss with y'all how I graded these players and how I ranked these players off of what I'm looking at. First is speed and quickness. What I see how on the tape, how fast do they look, how quick do they get off the line. Also paired with their 40 speed, their 3-cone time, and their, like I said, get off speed. Also strength, the ability to shed blocks, hold up against larger defensive linemen. Technique, proper hand usage. Do they have a plethora of pass rush moves that they use? Do they use a spin move? Do they use the bull rush move? Football IQ, gap integrity, to stop runs and stuff like that, and also athleticism, which has agility and explosiveness underneath it. So number 9, I'm gonna start at number 9, and I'm gonna work my way to the top guys at number 1. So number 9, I have, and forgive me if I'm butchering his name, Oluwafemi Oladejo. All right, I'm gonna play y'all a video of some of his highlights while I'm talking. So I'm pretty much, we all know we had a 30-day visit with him. I think it's a really good chance that we end up drafting this guy on in the later rounds. He has really good athleticism. He didn't do the 3-cone drill. He didn't do the 40-yard dash at his pro day or at the draft combine, and he's only been playing the edge position since 2023. He's only been really rushing the passer consistently since 2023. With that being said, he still put up 4.5 sacks and 57 tackles last season. So isn't bad at all. He just can, he just has to shore up on some of his technique things, but he looked really good coming off the line with good speed. Very explosive and aggressive player. Has a lot of upside with the right coaching, I think. But yeah, like I said, and I'm gonna also do one con for each player as well. But his one con was he lacks instincts at the position, and that comes with playing the position. He's only really been playing it for like 1 year or 2 years, so that's just gonna come as he grows in that position. So that was his biggest con, just lacks instincts, but he can make up with it with his athleticism. But definitely a possibility at us drafting him. Let's go on to number 8. And number 8, I got Kyle Kennard, out of South Carolina, and I got us drafting him somewhere. If we do pick him up somewhere in the second or third, and he's number 8 on my list. He put up 11.5 sacks last season, 3 forced fumbles, and 28 tackles. His 3-cone drill was 7.3, and his 40-yard dash was a 4.73, which is solid. Very athletic. Very, very athletic, as you can see on the screen. He has good strength. He's a long, prototypical build at 6'4", 254 pounds. That's the type of build that you generally want at edge. But he shows great power, and moving blockers back. Shows promise, like by promise, shows promise at getting around the edge. And by promise, I mean like he shows the promise, like he can do it. He just might need some coaching to get to it. Like if he, I don't know if he's flexible enough yet, but it looks like that if he worked on it at least, I think he can get that flexibility in there, and he can learn how to be, that bend around the edge. Because and let's just face it, the better edge rushers in the league, they're flexible and they can bend around the edge. That's what a lot of guys. That's probably the hardest thing to teach, in my opinion, at the edge rush position, is the bend / flexibility to get around the edge. That's just something that is almost like speed, where it's either you got it or you don't. You can teach technique, you can teach finesse moves, you can play harder, you can play more aggressive, you can build strength, but some people bodies just don't contort that position where they can just get low but still maintain their strength and speed and dip up under tackles and come back under with the same explosiveness. That's just very hard to teach. I'm not necessarily saying you can't teach it, but it's extremely hard. And I got him at number 8. My biggest con on him is, from what I've seen, it's just me. I didn't really get to see much him use any much finesse moves in his game. But he's a really good player, has a really bright future. But I got him at number 8 for the time being. Number 7. Let's go ahead and go on to number 7. I got Josiah Stewart out of Michigan. Josiah Stewart, he put up 8.5 sacks last season, 2 forced fumbles, and 33 tackles. Had a time of 7.7 3-cone drill and a 40-yard dash of a 0.7. I mean, generally, you run a little bit quicker on the 3-cone drill, I'm not going to lie. But he does a lot of good things, man. He does a lot of good things he did a lot of good things for the Wolverines. I think he'll be a fine NFL player. That's why I got him at number 7. And I wrote down that he has good pull ability. The play that just went on the screen, he right here, push, get off me, pull, straight to the quarterback. I think that might be his best move, bro. He really has mastered that to a T, and he shows great on tape. He shows great that he's good at using it. That's, what I'm saying, like it's almost unstoppable for him. That's like his finisher move, I would say. But he also takes great angles when getting to the quarterback. Great angles. I mean, if you give him a slither of hope in the inside, he's taking it, and he's taking advantage of it. Give him a slither of hope on the outside, he's taking it, and he's taking advantage of it. So you like that in players. I also wrote down that he portrays good strength and leverage with his bull rush move. That might be a second move. I mean, he's not really. My con on him is that I think he's listed at 6 feet. So he's not like the bigger guy that you want around, 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", that you want in the edge rusher. But I mean, he uses his underside. He uses his size to his ability. He stays low, and he gets to the quarterback. He gets the job done pretty much. And he has a very, very aggressive play nature and play style and nature. And he's also can drop back in coverage if needed. He did that quite a few times for Michigan at his time there. So I got Josiah Stewart at number 7. Moving on to number 6. We got Nick Scorton. And I know a lot of you guys have Nick Scorton a little bit higher. I know some people have him in the late first. Some people have him in the 3rd maybe. Or, you know what I'm saying? But he could fall to the 3rd. But I have him going somewhere in the 2nd. Somewhere in the 2nd, I feel like Nick Scorton is going to get picked up. He's a good player, man. Let me go ahead and play this video. I didn't even press play on it. He's a good player. I think his biggest pro and his biggest con is that he can play inside and out. When I say pro is, he can play inside and out. I mean, the Commanders love guys who can do multiple things, movement inside, moving outside. But at the same time, although he can play inside and out, I don't necessarily know if he's going to be great at either. You know, he might just be a rotational piece. He might just be somebody who can come in when somebody get hurt, or I'm coming on a few downs and or a few downs or on a drive and then come out. Like, I don't know if he's an every down edge rusher, but I got him at number 6. Some of the things that I wrote down, and also he didn't do any 3-cone drills or any 40-yard dashes. He had 5 sacks, 1 fumble, 1 forced fumble, and 37 tackles. I wrote down that he has a strong push off the line, very strong. You can already tell that he, he's a very physical guy. Portrays a lot of strength, capable of moving offensive line back. He also has a pretty good plethora of pass rush moves, including his spin move that he likes to use. He does use a spin move from what I've seen in the tape, and it's pretty effective. It's pretty effective that he uses it, and the way he uses it, and it gets the job done. Look, he gets in the inside, very physical player. But like I said, I just don't know how great he can be. I haven't seen enough to where he will be a great player in our league. I don't think. But I mean, we've seen players come in who don't have the best tape necessarily in college, but they have a bright future because they develop or a team sees something in them, like, hey, if we can get him to do this, then he can, take off. And I'm not saying that he can't do that, but right now I don't see it. But his biggest trait is that he can play multiple positions on the line, in my opinion. So that's why I got him at number 6. Moving on to number 5. All right, we getting into the nitty gritty of things right now. I got Princely Umanmielen. I think that's how you pronounce it. Hopefully I pronounced it correct. I like this guy, man. I like this guy. Really long pause at 6'4", and uses his length to his advantage. Last year, I got him going in early second round, by the way. But last year he put up 10.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 37 tackles. Had a 3-cone drill of a 7.33 and a 40-yard dash of a 4.72. Has good bend around the edge, especially for someone with his height. And this is what I was talking about. That's why I got him higher than a lot of guys, because he shows that he can bend. Like that's something, like I said earlier, in my opinion, that's hard to teach. Flexibility. It's hard to teach that type of stuff, man. That's something that, like, it's a feel thing. You just got to build it a feel. You got to feel it in the middle of the game. And I think he's shown that time and time again that he has that part of his game down. He might need to improve on some other things. Like, I got him for his cons. He doesn't really move blockers back, so I don't know how strong he is. But that's one of the things that we need as Commanders too. That's why I don't have him higher. We need somebody that can rush the passer and also set the edge. And I don't know about him setting the edge. That's the only thing. But he's more of a finesse edge rusher. He has the finesse down. Like I said, he didn't really show much push against tackles. Pretty good speed and a really good quick first step. But he's a promising player, man. I really like him. And I got Princely at number 5. Moving on to number 4, I got Landon Jackson, man. Some people like him, some people don't, but I really like Landon Jackson. He might be my second favorite. Next, I got my favorite player that I want us to get, but he might be my second edge rusher that I want us to get coming out of this draft at number 4 for me. And man, he has 6.5 sacks last season, 1 forced fumble, and 49 total tackles. So he hasn't really put up the numbers that you want out of drafting a guy that high in the first and second round, but I think he shows a lot of promise, man. I think he shows a lot of promise. 3-cone drill was a 7.13, which is really solid, actually. 40-yard dash was a 4.68, and he has great size. He's 6'6". So can't teach height. You know what I'm saying? So he's really big. And this is the meme guy. If y'all remember the dude coming out of high school, he was the one that was, slapping the bag and getting over. I think that might have been his first time doing that drill. That's why it looked like that. But it did look a little sassy, and a lot of guys was looking at it. But he's grown, bro. He's grown a lot. Even in 2023 to 2024, he's grown, and you can see it on the tape, man. This dude is he's continuously growing. I think he can grow a lot. I think he has a chance to be really, really good in the league. And some of the things that I wrote down that were pros for him was he has a relentless motor and attacks the ball carrier. And you can see it. He has a relentless motor. He doesn't stop. A lot of guys take plays off, and from what I was watching, he doesn't really take plays off, man. And he doesn't stop during the play. He shows 100% effort from start to finish. And that's the type of guys that DQ and Adam Peters want in this locker room. That's the type of guys they want. Those type of guys that they feel like they can mold and win a lot of games with. So I think he's a commander. He might be the closest to a commander. I don't know about the best coming out the draft at the edge rush position, but he fits the commander mold perfectly. But he's a very well-rounded player, can get in the backfield, and he can also set the edge. And he has a good forward push on blockers off the line. So he keeps them at his arm length pretty good, and he can keep them there, while he's seeing what's going on in the backfield. The only con that I have for him is that he doesn't really, in my opinion, portray much, finesse, or he doesn't really give any much, finesse moves or pass rush moves, in my opinion. But I feel like those things can be taught. You can teach certain things at the next level. Like if he can get, with DQ and those guys, they can teach him some things. And I think it depends on where he ends up. If he ends up in a situation where they want to spend time and invest in him, I think he could be really good because he's not far off. He just needs some teaching. He just needs some teaching in terms of, situational things. That's all. And that's why I don't have him higher. If in my opinion, if he had that in his arsenal, like knowing when to do this pass rush move, knowing how this guy wants to block you, and he'd be higher on the draft, bro. In my opinion, I think if he comes to Washington and he gets with guys like Ryan Kerrigan, he can learn a lot. And like I said, Landon Jackson fits our mold, and he'll fit in great with us. And I got him at number 4. So moving into the top 3, though, at number 3, I have my favorite guy that I absolutely want us to get. I think he will do great things. And then I think he has the potential, if he develops right, to be a star in this league. And that's Donovan Ezeraku. Donovan Ezeraku put up 16 and a half sacks last season, 3 forced fumbles, and 80 tackles, bro. 3 cones, 6.94. He didn't run a 40-yard dash. But that alone tells you what type of athlete this guy is and what type of player he is, bro. I think he's the best bang for your buck. I think he might be there. In the second round. His stock has been rising. A lot of guys have been projected him to go in the first round, but we just got to see. Hopefully, not too many people find out about him, but I wouldn't be mad if he picked him in the first round, depending on how many edge rushers have come off the board so far. But I really like Donovan Ezeraku. I really do. Has a really, really good spin move that he uses. Very well-rounded player. Is really decent at a lot of things. Has a good bend, good strength, and decent at setting the edge. Told you, man, DQ, AP, they like guys that can do multiple things. You can't just only rush the passer. You have to be pretty solid. It gets to run too. And I think if he does go in the second round, I think that's a steal. I really do. If he goes in the first round, I think that's a good comp for him because I feel like that's where his career will end up. But right now, and I can see why he would fall to second round. I have seen some tape though where he does seem like he's not as engaged on defense. I don't know if it's a mental thing or what, but I have seen that, and I also have seen some reports surrounding that. But from what I've seen though, overall, it's really good. He's really, really good. That's why I got him at number 3. Moving on to my top 2 players. top 2 players. At number 2, I got James Pierce Jr. I'm gonna just go off with the cons first. The only reason I don't have him at number 1 on this list, and the only reason why he may even fall to us, is because of his character concerns. I don't know how true those reports are, but I know they are floating out there. I know his time in Tennessee, there were some things going on there. I don't have all the details in there, so I'm not going to go over that. But I do know there is some current concerns, and I do know that what DQ AP want in this locker room and on this team are good character guys. So that's the only reason why he ain't number 1. That's probably the only reason why he might not be in the top 10 or 15. But this guy does everything. He does everything at the edge. Strong, can bend, good size, length. He has 7.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 38 tackles. It was some games where the coaching staff took him out for whatever reason, or he didn't play as much as he should have for whatever reason. And I think that might have something to do with the character concerns. But if you look at the tape, dude's a beast. If he can get over that character concerns, if he didn't have the character concerns, he'd be top 10. But like I said, I don't know how true those reports are, and that's the only reason why I don't have him at number 1. But what I wrote down was he perhaps might have one of the best combinations of speed, strength, and athleticism at 6'5" and 245 pounds. Showed a lot of good movement on stunts. And he's unblockable against tight ends. Do not block him with a tight end. Has to be a lineman, like an actual guard or a tackle, because he's going to disregard those guys. Cons is that he has the only thing I can say is major. I don't know if they're major or minor, but he does have something around concerning his character. So that's that. And the number one player I got on here, which I don't think. Well, I think Mike Green could fall to 29. I really do, actually. I really do think he can fall to us. That's why I got him at number 9, man. Number 9, Mike Green. He really, really reminds me of Micah Parsons. Outside of Abdul Carter, because he also reminds me of Micah Parsons a little bit. Mike Green reminds me of Micah Parsons. If you watch him play, fast, physical, relentless motor, has a knack for getting in the backfield and getting to the ball. Just listen to these 3-cone drill. His 3-cone drill was a 6.85 40-yard dash for 4.78. 6.85 3-cone drill. Again, that's the drill that the NFL uses to determine how well you would be probably the number one drill to determine how well you would be at the edge in the NFL. Hasn't always translated, but that's the drill that they considered the number one drill to consider how well you would be at rushing the passer, because it's a lot of turning, it's a lot of bending, it's a lot of getting low, and speed involved in that drill. And he had one of the fastest time, if not the fastest. So that's my number one player. Very quick off the line, very fast, has a nose for getting in the backfield. High athleticism, shows really good technique, and a good plethora of pass rush moves. And like I said, he reminds me of Micah Parsons just watching him. But the only con, if I had to say a con, is that I didn't he played at Marshall, so we didn't really get to see him play against some of the top tier teams in the NCAA. But I don't think we needed to. And this is just me trying to find a con on him. But he's really good, man. That's why I got him at number 9. So with that being said, let me know. Comment, like, subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know if y'all agree with my list. If y'all think I need to make some changes. I got a video coming out on the running backs. I got some surprises in there on my top 10. There's so many good running backs as well. It's hard to put them all in top 10. Everybody top 10 probably different. But yeah, man, if y'all like this video, please like, subscribe, and comment. I appreciate everybody who took the time out today to spend time with me in this video and reach this point in this video. I appreciate you. But that's all I got for y'all, man. It's Raise Hell Zell, and thank you for watching. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Peace out.